Pick up a picture frame from a craft or thrift store. Remove the back panel and inserts, then swap them for your favorite photo, artwork, or fabric. Resecure the backing and grab 4 cabinet knobs. Apply a generous amount of hot glue to each knob and press them firmly onto each corner of the frame. Once dry, flip it over for a beautiful, expensive-looking tray, perfect for snacks or styling your coffee table.
The first thing we need to do is take off the back. I picked up several packs of these wooden dowels from the dollar store. In order to make sure all the dowels were cut at the same length on a miter saw, I taped them all together and made them in one cut. So now that all the dowels are cut down to size, I'm just going to be using a basic glue gun. So for my feet, I'm actually just using some cheap drawer pulls that I found, but they've got a nice flat base. For the final step, I got these really nice brass handles on clearance. One final step on this, because it will likely be exposed to moisture, is to take it outside and give it a spray with some sort of spray-on poly. Once the sealant has dried, you're ready to add your accessories. I put a little small ceramic pot with soaps, a sink scrub, and a little greenery to make it pop.
The next time you're at Dollar Tree, make sure you head to their frame section and grab some of these gold frames. And I'm going to begin by removing the backing and then taking out the matte border as well as the cardboard, so I have just the glass and the frame. I'm then going to come in with some wire cutters and I'm going to pull out the black tabs that keep the backing on and remove those as well. Then I'm going to take out the glass and I'm going to come with some E6000 and I'm going to glue the glass inside the frame. So I just go all around the frame with the glue and then I place the glass back inside to glue it in place. Once I've done all my frames, I'm then going to come and take 8 of the frames and I'm going to glue 2 of them together. So 8 frames total, glued 2 together. And I do this by using the same E6000, making sure I flip it over and wipe away any excess glue that oozes out in between. And then I'm going to clamp them together and I'm going to let this set overnight. I was noticing when I placed the clamps on the frames to clamp the 2 together, they did kind of raise up and bow up at the corners there. So I just placed some heavier objects on top to keep them flat and straight while they were setting. I came back the next day, removed all my heavy objects that I placed on top, and then as well removed the clamps from all the frames. And these frames are really solid glued together here. Then I'm going to take the remaining 2 frames that are not glued to any other frames and I'm going to lay them out here on how I'm going to glue this together. So I'm going to glue all the sides and then I'm going to just raise them up here and build a rectangular shape. So 2 frames on each end and then the 2 that are glued together for the sides. Again, after I've done this, it is standing, so we don't need to clamp it, but I am going to let this set overnight again, making sure that the glue is really solid. Once it's set, you can see here I can move it around. It is completely solid. It does not move. It's not flimsy. And then I'm just going to come in and finish it up with a nice A-frame top with my remaining 4 frames. And then I'm going to just connect them together into an A-frame shape and letting that set as well overnight. Then when I am finished, here is my project. It is a beautiful terrarium that I can use to place my potted plants, and I like the sides open on the A-frame part so that I can just stick my sprayer in there and water my plants as need be. This is a decorative little elegant house for me to store my house plants, and now I have one of those gorgeous A-frame terrariums that you see at high-end decor stores that I made for as little as under $10 and the cost of some glue.
I couldn't deal with this jewelry drawer anymore, so I came up with a super simple fix that actually worked. So for this project, I headed straight to the picture frame aisle at the thrift store. I popped out the backing and the artwork and the glass, and I was just left with the frame. Then I grabbed my trusty rub and buff in an antique gold color and brushed a light layer over the surface of my picture frame. Once your frame is dry, it's time to turn it into an organizer. I'm using thin jewelry wire here. You could try string too, and I'm stringing it from side to side across the back of the frame. My plan was to hot glue the ends of the wire in place, but I really lucked out here, and this picture frame had little metal staples to hold the glass in place, and those staples happened to be in the perfect spots. So I wrapped my wire around the staples instead, but hot glue will totally work. And now for the backing, which is where the real magic happens and gives this project a lot of personality. I found this gorgeous deep red velvet drawer liner on Amazon, and the second I saw it, I knew it was exactly the vibe I was going for with this project. I cut my drawer liner down to size and hot glued it to the back of my frame and instantly fell in love with the look. Then it was time to hang this up. And since this is a picture frame, it already had all the hanging hardware I needed ready to go on the back, which is nice. Necklaces, dangly earrings, hoops, everything displays really beautifully on this frame. My jewelry collection isn't all that fancy, but let me tell you, it looks downright regal on this organizer. And the best part, no more digging through that chaotic jewelry drawer. This thrifty project turned my messy jewelry collection into a beautifully organized display, and it freed up a whole drawer in the process.
I headed over to my local dollar store and I found 3 medium drawer organizers and 3 5x7 frames that fit perfectly over the boxes. First, take the frames out of their packaging and remove the glass and backing. Cut out your scrapbook paper to cover the back of the drawer organizer, so you'll need to measure it and cut it out perfectly. Once you know it fits, properly glue the paper on with a glue stick. Now we will paint the frames. If your frames have a finish on them, give them a light sand. The green I'm using is pistachio green. Paint one side and set to dry, then paint the other side. The green I chose was a little too bright green, so I did a whitewash over it to tone it down a bit. The whitewash is achieved by mixing white acrylic paint with a bit of water and painting over top so that the underneath color shows through. Once dry, you can attach the frame to the box with hot glue and leave it until it's also fully dried and adhered. I wanted to spice these shelves up a bit, so I added on some small stems of faux purple flowers and a white rose in the corners of the 2 upright shelves. When it comes to hanging, my desk organizers had an indent on the back, so I could just hang them on nails. Look how lovely they turned out. They're going to look so good with all my spring decor. So next up, hang them in your favorite place, fill them with your own precious items, and enjoy.